Hello viewers, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I still remain your own boy MC Bernardino. Alright, this is Canada Immigration with MC Bernardino, where I basically dish out information as far as migrating to Canada is concerned. Alright, on today's episode I will be telling you about the importance of letter of explanation as far as applying for study permit is required. So what is the importance of that? Is it really required? What does IRCC law says regarding letter of explanation if you want to apply for study permit in Canada? So you want to stay glued, hang on tight, call your friends, call everybody around you, because I'll be dissecting that for you. Hang on tight, guys.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Okay, so now we're on Canada Immigration website, and I'll be scrolling down to show you what the requirements are, especially for the letter of explanation, if it's really required. Alright, so scrolling down, you will see what Canada Immigration actually says. Okay, so letter of explanation. First, this letter helps the visa officer to understand you and your goals. It explains why you want to study in Canada, and two, that you understand your responsibilities as a student. You should include this letter in it if you decide to apply for a study, even though you are exempted. So as you can see, letter of explanation is really required when you want to apply for your study permit. Alright, so the letter of intent can be written on a piece of plain paper, typed on a written plain paper, and if you have a company, you can also write it on the letterhead of your company. That's if you have one. But in the absence of that, just get a plain paper and type it on it. So first thing first, you want to put the address of Canada Immigration, letter of explanation as the heading. You put the date there. Then you can start with the introduction. The first paragraph will be introduction. So introduction is that you're just trying to introduce yourself to the immigration officer, stating your name, your educational experience, your educational knowledge, your work experience. You want to be concise about that in the first paragraph. Just try to introduce yourself so that the immigration officer treating your file will get to know who he or she is dealing with. Alright, so on the second paragraph, you want to state why you choose to study in Canada. I mean, this time around, why did you choose Canada? I mean, there are so many countries you can afford to go to. You can go to UK, you can go to the US. Why did you choose to come and study in Canada? That is something you want to clearly state. So there, I expect you to state why you feel Canada is the best option for you. You want to tell them something like, okay, you've made your research, you feel that Canada education is top-notch, their universities are excellent, you did your research on it, they are ranked among the top universities globally, and just try to convince them. Maybe you can also tell them that you have friends back home that have studied in Canada, that they encourage you, that Canada is a good place to be. So try as much as possible to state why you chose Canada. Try to convince him from that aspect. Another thing again you want to talk about is, why did you choose the school you want to come and study in Canada? That's the next paragraph. You want to try to convince the immigration officer why you chose that school. Take for instance, like when I chose Humboldt College. So you want to I try to convince the immigration officer that I chose Humboldt College because Humboldt College is one of the leading institutions in Ontario, and they have excellent professors, good good structures, research, everything was good, top notch. So these are what you need to convince the immigration officer to know that you know what you're doing. So you want to convince them why you chose that school that you want to come and study in Canada. That's another paragraph you want to include. In addition to the school, you also want to try to convince the immigration officer why you chose your course of study. Take for instance, when I came into Humboldt College, I chose to study project management, and I tried to convince the immigration officer that going by my previous background back home, which I was working in the telecom industry, project management is very paramount for me, because if I come into Canada to study project management, I can go back to my job when I'm done studying, go back to my own country and use the knowledge that I've acquired from the project management to manage telecommunication project effectively. So this is what you need to convince the immigration officer also. So you want to try as much as possible to correlate why your course of study it's important for you, especially when you're done studying, how you can apply that knowledge. And don't forget, I've told you in the past that make sure that the course of study that you chose to do in Canada correlates with probably your job experience back home. With that, you can actually easily convince the immigration officer. But if both of them are polarized, if they are far apart, then it might be very hard for you to convince the immigration officer why you chose that course and why you want to study in Canada. While still writing the letter of explanation, another paragraph that is very paramount is that you need to convince the immigration officer why you will be reverting back to your home country when you're done. Guys, this is very key. I mean, you need to take your time to draft this aspect of the letter of explanation because it is very paramount. You need to be able to, because I've seen many rejection letters. In fact, it is very rampant. One of the reasons they always give is that you are unable to convince the immigration officer that you'll be reverting back when you're done studying. Guys, I've done a lot of video on this, and I will also tell you about it today. So now this time, this aspect, the paragraph of the explanation, you need to be able to convince the immigration officer that when you're done studying in Canada, whether it's a 1 year or a 2 years, master's, PhD, postgraduate, whatever, you will be reverting back to your home country. What you can use to prove this is this: if you have a letter of reference, I mean, from your company that you're working with back home, include the letter too. Let the immigration officer know that you have a job waiting for you back home. If you don't have that, if you have your own thriving business, include your business letter of incorporation, affidavit, everything, include it in the letter. That shows that when you're done studying, you will be reverting back to your business because your business is actually thriving. If you have landed properties, anything you have, do the affidavit of that, include it in your application. Guys, I can't overemphasize this. You need to be able to prove to the immigration officer that you will be reverting back, and also make the immigration officer also understand that you don't have any family back in Canada. So that shows you don't have any ties. In addition to that, make the immigration officer know in the letter of explanation that your families, your kids, your family, your mom, your dad, your sisters, your wife, everybody, they are back home. So definitely you will be reverting back, because the moment the immigration officers discover that you have ties to Canada, I mean, probably your sister is in Canada, your wife is in Canada, your mom is in Canada, then that's a red flag. Your application might, I'm not saying no, it might not be granted. So that is why the letter of explanation, it is very paramount, guys. Once again, I've told you that you need to put your you need to introduce yourself, state why you chose Canada, state why you choose the school, particularly in coming in Canada. Is it a DLI school, designated learning institution? Also, why you chose the course, and also what are your ties to back home, why you will be reverting back. These are what you need to put in the letter of explanation. Guys, once again, I've told you earlier in this video that it is one of the requirements. So if anybody tells you that you don't need it, that is a lie. If you go on the immigration website, which I'll be linking down in this video, it's very mandatory for you to include your letter of explanation in among the documents that you will be submitting when you are applying for your study permit in Canada. Okay guys, I want to believe you enjoy everything I brought for you today. If you enjoyed this video, hit on the likes button. If you enjoyed this video, likewise, share this video with your loved one, with your friends. Anybody you feel needs this information, feel free to share this information with them. Alright, and if you have not subscribed to this channel, please, let's take a few moments. Please subscribe to this channel. There's a notification icon right beside it. Click on it. Anytime I drop a video, you'll be among the first to get it. Alright, let me take you to the Think About It segment where I always drop it deep. You think about it, you act on it, and it always works for you. My quote today is from Leon Brown, and he said, "Always do the right thing no matter what others says. It is you, not them. You have to face the consequences." Alright guys, I hope you actually understood that. Always do the right thing. So as far as what I've just told you is concerned, if you want to apply for your study permit, don't listen to what naysayers say, don't listen to what people say. Do the right thing by including the letter of explanation. I've just told you in this video what the composition is, and also down in the description below I will be telling you more, showing more light on that. If you want to get a sample of what the letter of introduction is, go online, type letter of explanation to Canada, type it online, you will get a sample of that. You can also use that prototype to draft your own. Alright, if you have any question, feel free to drop it in the comment section below. I always revert back. Alright, till I come back to you guys again with another wonderful, informative, scintillating and fun-filled episode on Canada Immigration with MC Bernardino. Stay out of crime, guys. One love.